Alicia, hey girl, hey. TT, hey girl, hey. That's Wabble, everybody. That's Wabble, Tiffany. That's Wabble. Yeah. Y'all, excuse me for my tardiness this morning. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I must have been extremely tired. I completely overslept. Like, when I woke up, my husband's clock was going off. And I looked, I'm like, oh my gosh. It was literally 7:30. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm late. Like I said, I must have been extremely tired. Up expending all my energy the last few days. Good morning, April. Hey, girl. Hey. I must have been expending all my energy these last couple days, getting stuff together and doing some last minute stuff. So, I'm almost sure that's where all my energy went to, because y'all know I'm doing the fasting and stuff, and so when I blow energy, it takes a little while for it to kick back in, because I'm not consuming anything. So the energy has to come from me sleeping. So, sorry. All this studying and stressing for the people make you sad. Tiffany, yeah, you got a point, girl. You got a point. Okay, y'all. I know some of y'all got to get to work, and I'm already extremely late. So I'm going to just give a quick comment real quick, and then hold on, write this down. Day 99. 7, 8, 9. Okay. So what I posted yesterday, I love y'all too. Let me tell y'all, I give y'all every bit of information that I get as soon as I get it. So, the information comes from like a inside source inside the government. So, what I posted yesterday about getting flashlights and stuff like that, hopefully that's some stuff y'all actually got last year, and they put it out yesterday too. Because, okay, there was an article, I'm going to post it, but I sent personal messages to some of you because I didn't post it publicly. But it was talking about the hack that happened last Friday. They were saying that the government is downplaying it. The government said it was an unsuccessful attempt, but the government contractor said it was successful, and there was a lot more that was compromised than what the government is telling us. So I'm not sure how true that is, but what I do know is the article came out talking about it. So I'm like, holy crap. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh snap. So if y'all didn't get that private message from me yesterday afternoon, and y'all want to see it, inbox me and I'll send it to you. That's what I'm saying. They said they not okay. Here's the thing, they're telling everybody, like, they're up here excuse me, they doing all these promises, and I'm like, I really hope they can stick to that. But it seemed like to me everybody's getting out of Dodge. Think about it. Bill Gates then stepped down from his businesses. At this time. Now we know he on this big earth depopulation thing, but he done stepped down. Like, people are getting out of Dodge. I mean, we got some other people, and I think some of them personally, some of the superstars that's saying they got the coronavirus, some may, but I think that's a cover-up so they can get out of here and self-quarantine themselves with what's going on. But you got to think about it. Okay, look at it. They're saying they're taking all these precautions to, self-quarantine everybody to make sure that this doesn't spread rapidly. I get that. Not downplaying that, because it does seem to be spreading faster. But there's a lot of other things that are also happening across the world that if you put all this together, there's a much, much bigger picture that you can see taking place, and that's forming right before our eyes. And people are getting mad. They think it's just the coronavirus, and it's like, man, people are overreacting this, and I'm like, y'all gotta pay attention. National Guard is then being dispersed everywhere. Troops are being brought back home to be dispersed throughout the United States. Remember they was doing this training? We heard about this training last year. Matter of fact, military units were training to they were training here. They had to think about it. Darn it, I'm gonna have to find it. But military troops, they were being trained here for civil unrest. And they're pulling them from overseas and places, and they are dispersing them here in the United States. Like now, they're doing this now. Some of you may have seen them, some of you may not, but I know some people who have personally seen them. You'll see military convoys going by full of soldiers. Where are they going? I'm telling y'all, pay attention. With all the stuff, the businesses are shutting down. I get it. I get all that, precautions and everything. But pay attention to some of the other bigger things that are going on. So, like I said, I'm not going to say everything that was in that message. If you didn't get it, it's in your inbox, and I will send it to you so you can read it. And like I said, go ahead. Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. Prepare just in case. I hope not, y'all. Just in case something happens with the power company, right? Because in the message they said they weren't too sure about how long the utilities were actually going to stay on, although they're promising that everything, all that stuff will be intact and they will have somebody man them. And that person, the company that their government contractor, where he's working at, they actually sent him a generator and a satellite internet. Yeah, my cousin has been pulled overseas. See, they sent him a generator because they have a really good feeling. Not saying it's going to happen all over the states, but they definitely know it's going to happen in some places. But they sent him a generator and backup stuff and satellite internet so he can continue working on the government stuff he's working on. That says a whole lot, y'all. And a lot of us don't have we may not have the resources to get some of those things. If you can go get a generator, go get one. They're not that much. It depends. Some people may be jacking up the price. I don't know. But if you can afford one, get one. Get a gas can. Get some backup gas in it. So unless you got a solar powered generator, most of them, or if you get an electrical generator, how you can plug it in. Get a generator if you can get one. Flashlights, batteries. Yes, baby.
You cut the pineapple.
I'll cut the pineapple later today, baby. Wait a minute, because we're going to replant that, okay? Okay, hold on. So that's what that was about. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just saying, y'all, be prepared. And I was really serious about if we happen to lose communications, how you going to contact family and check on them and see if they're okay. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's good probability based on what happened with our grid Friday that they're not letting people know. They just said there was a cyber attack. It was much bigger than a cyber attack with what they did. But like I said, they're kind of downplaying it, just trying to keep everybody at peace. And that was pretty much it, y'all. Like I said, if you didn't get the message, send me an inbox and I'll let you read it, and it was like, this is not a rumor, y'all. This is first-hand information. I'm just letting you know so you can be prepared. So, and it was something else. He said in the message, he said that they're taking about 14 days. This has already been happening. Taking about 14 days to get the troops in place. And then they're going to call it. And they said, and he said it's like right now we're playing the game of musical chairs. He said, because when the music stops, that's where you're going to be for the next 4 to 8 weeks. I think he said 4 to 8 weeks. Because wherever you at, you're going to be stuck there. And you're not going to be able to move. So that's why I was saying, if you're not home, like if your family's in one place and you're out in another place, I would really recommend that you get home, get to your family, get to where if you Betwabu, Janaya, if you plan on being with your family when they call everybody to quarantine, you better get there now, or you're gonna really be stuck where you're at, and they're gonna be out patrolling the streets. Make sure everybody is obeying the directive, y'all. So I'm just trying to warn y'all as much as possible. Some people still think it's a joke. I send people messages, so some people I just stop sending messages to. I'm like, listen, take it for what it's worth. Go check it. I don't know how you gonna fact check that if you ain't got nobody inside. And the people fact checking stuff, articles and everything. Oh, this is false. This is false. Y'all keep believing that if you want to. They already lying to you. And well, I ain't gonna say lying, but they're talking. When I listen to them, they are talking around. They're not saying no, and they're not saying yes. Just like something yesterday, a reporter asked the president. They were saying, "Well, Mr. President, I believe they asked about the shutting the nation out." He said, people. There was rumors going around saying, and he was like, "I haven't heard that." And he said, "Well, I'm asking you, is this going to happen?" He said, "I'm not saying no, and I'm not saying yes. I hopefully we won't have to. Something that's still being considered." I said, "See, there you go. Not giving a direct answer, talking around it. I'm just telling y'all that way they can't say that they lied. They can just say they didn't know what the time to have it. They said we haven't made that decision yet."
Mom.
So, but I'm telling you, people on the inside of the government, they are preparing them. And they're sending them home. They're shutting down stuff. Government agencies. Yes, I see, baby. They're shutting down government agencies and stuff really quietly. They're testing out stuff, make sure the networks will function during this time. So, as much as I know, y'all, like I said, I will give it to you. Go fact check, do whatever you want to do with it. But just make sure you prepare. If it happens to blow over, hey, you got extra stuff. Extra food ain't never hurt nobody. But if it do happen and you decided not to act on it, you might be in some trouble, So, all right, y'all, that was pretty much it. I just want to tell you that, like I said, if you didn't get that message from me, from what we got last time, and you actually want it, inbox me, and I will send it to you after the reading today. So, that's it, y'all. Today, it is Tuesday, March the 17th, 2020, day 99. Yes, baby girl. No, you sit right here, okay? All right, y'all. We're reading 1 Kings 7, 8, and 9. And I'm going to try and go fast, y'all, because like I said, I really overslept. I was extremely tired, and I'm so sorry. Okay. All right, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it's pretty short. Let me take a sip of water, because my mouth already dry. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. 1 Kings chapter 9. And if you missed what I said in the beginning, when the video over, just play it from the start, and you hear what I'm saying. And it came to pass when Solomon had finished the building of the house of Yahuwah and the king's house, and all Solomon's desire which he was pleased to do, that Yahuwah appeared to Solomon the second time, as he had appeared unto him at Gibeon. And Yahuwah said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house which thou hast built to put my name there forever, and mine eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. And if thou wilt walk before me as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do after according to all that I have commanded thee to do, and thou wilt keep my statutes and my judgments, then I will establish thy throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever, as I promised David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. But if ye shall at all turn from following me, or ye or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go ahead and serve other gods and worship them, then I will cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name, and I will cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. Have you even been asleep at all?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Keep her quiet for me.
Energized.
Okay, very good. Keep her occupied for me for just a few minutes, please. And she's trying to get me to cut that pineapple right now. Her and Isaiah. And at this house which is high, everyone that passes by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss, and they shall say, why hath Yahuwah done thus unto this land and to this house? And they shall answer, because they forsook their God, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have taken hold upon other gods, and have worshipped them and served them. Therefore hath Yahuwah brought upon them all this evil. And it came to pass at the end of 20 years, when Solomon had built the two houses, the house of Yahuwah and the king's house. Now Hiram, the king of Tyre, had furnished Solomon with cedar trees and fir trees, and with gold according to all his desire. That then King Solomon gave Hiram 20 cities in the land of Galilee. And Hiram came out from Tyre to see the cities which Solomon had given him, and they pleased him not. And he said, what cities are these which thou hast given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul unto this day. And Hiram sent to the king 60 talents of gold. And this is the reason of the levy which King Solomon raised, for to build the house of Yahuwah and his own house, and Milo, and the wall of Jerusalem, and Hazor, and Megiddo, and Gezer. For Pharaoh, king of Egypt, hath gone up and taken Gezer, and burned it with fire, and slain the Canaanites, and dwelt in the city, and given it for a present unto his daughter Solomon's wife. And Solomon built Gezer, and Beth-horam the nether, and Baalath, and Tadmor in the wilderness and the land, and all the cities of store that Solomon had, and cities for his chariots, and cities for his horsemen, and that which Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem, and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his dominion. And all the people that were left of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, which were not of the children of Israel, their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel were not able to utterly destroy, upon those did Solomon levy a tribute of bond service unto this day. Meaning he made them pay taxes. But the children of Israel did Solomon make no bondmen, but they were men of war, and his servants, and his princes, and his captains, and rulers, his chariots, and his horsemen. These were the chief of the officers that were over Solomon's work, 550, which bare rule over the people that wrought in the work. But Pharaoh's daughter came up out of the city of David unto her house which Solomon had built for her. Then did he build Milo. And 3 times a year did Solomon offer burnt offerings and peace offerings upon the altar which he built unto Yahuwah, and burnt incense upon the altar that was before Yahuwah. So he finished the house. And King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezion-Geber, which is beside Elah, on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. And Hiram sent in the navy his servants, shipmen that had knowledge of the sea, with the servants of Solomon. And they came to Ophir, and fetched from thence gold 420 talents, and brought it to King Solomon. 1 Kings chapter 10. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of Yahuwah, she came to prove him with hard questions. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all the questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he had not told her. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all of Solomon's wisdom, and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent by which he went up to the house of Yahuwah, there was no more spirit in her. Like, she was breathtaking. Her breath was taken. And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard in my own land of thy acts, of thy wisdom.
This is Noah?
No, that's a bean dip. I wrap them up. Don't go in there and start eating up all that stuff, man.
I'm not gonna eat it.
Give her the things right there. Heat her up a couple of them.
No.
Oh, wait, you ain't hungry, little girl. Lock it back up. Back up. Okay, thank you.
Hey, you know what an RT
And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard in my own land of thy acts and thy wisdom. Howbeit, I believed not the words until I came, and my eyes had seen it, and behold, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I heard. Happy are thy men, happy are these thy servants which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom. Blessed be Yahuwah thy God, which delighted in thee, and set thee on the throne of Israel, because Yahuwah loved Israel forever. Therefore made he thee king to do judgment and justice.
Mom!
Yes.
Excuse me, Lord, how much do
Yes.
What that one?
Okay, Jeremiah, okay. He handling that for you. Jeremiah, can you keep it quiet, please?
This ain't for you, this is for me.
And she gave the king 120 talents of gold. Why would you agitate her? She's about to start screaming. Don't do that. And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices, very great sword, and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these, which the queen of Sheba gave to the king Solomon. And the navy also of Hiram that brought gold from Ophir, brought in from Ophir great plenty of almug trees and precious stones. And the king made of the almug trees pillars for the house of Yahuwah and for the king's house, harps, also the psalteries for singers. There came no such almond trees, nor there were any seen unto this day. And King Solomon gave unto the queen of Sheba all her desire.
She's crying for no reason at this point.
Hey, look, I'm gonna send y'all both upstairs. You and your little tiny sister. Girl, chill. And the King Solomon gave unto the queen.
Mom,
I'm sorry, y'all. 1 second. Yes.
the mother gets some that one.
No, he's heating it up for you, okay?
And I'm eating it too.
Don't play with me. Boy, I tell you, teenagers. And King Solomon gave unto the queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, besides that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 636 talents of gold. And beside that he had of the merchantmen, and of the traffic of the spice merchants, and of all the kings of Arabia, and of the governors of the country. Girl, I'm about to punch him in his throat. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went to one target.
Mom,
And he made 300 shekels.
find it.
Okay, 300 shekels of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold went to one shield, and the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best gold. The throne had 6 steps, and the top of the throne was round behind, and there were stays on either side on the place of the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the stays. And 12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom. And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon.
Saw it.
Okay, he got it right there, okay? For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver and ivory and apes and peacocks. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and for wisdom. And all the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which Yahuwah had put in his heart. And they brought every man his present, vessels of silver and vessels of gold, and garments and armor, and spices, horses and mules, a rate year by year. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had made 1,400 chariots, and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed in the cities for chariots, and with the king at Jerusalem. And the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars made he to be as sycamore trees that are in the vale for abundance. And Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt, and linen yarn, and the king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price. And a chariot came up out and went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horseman for 150. And so for all the kings of the Hittites and for the kings of Syria did they bring them out by their means. Shh. Last chapter for today, y'all. 1 Kings chapter 11. And it is 43 verses, y'all, so bear with me. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites and the Ammonites.
Maya, taste that.
What?
Just a leaf.
Okay, it's edible, but you're supposed to cut it up and put it in food, Jeremiah. You're just taking leaves off the plants and eating. What was that? That was the basil, wasn't it? Yeah.
Cilantro. The basil was actually pretty good by itself. The cilantro was what threw it off. Because it has a strong,
Maya.
perfumey type of taste.
Yeah, I know. You cut it up and put it in
Maya.
sauces and stuff like that. He ain't
Maya.
eating my plants, y'all.
That's what you're
Stop
supposed to do
it.
to make sure they're good.
I got mint plant, cilantro, and basil sitting on the table.
Disgusting.
That's better.
But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonites, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahuwah said of the children of Israel, you shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. I'm sorry, y'all. Would you please and give her some syrup so she can dip it in? Okay, just put it on the plate. Don't make her holler. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with Yahuwah his God, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and went not fully after Yahuwah as did David his father. Boy, I tell you, after all the blessings that Yah would give, I guess it happens, but that's what happens when we don't keep his Torah stored in our hearts, Because I think about things, because I read it daily, I think about things. I don't know, we ain't supposed to do that. No, because it keeps you sharp and it keeps you alert and it comes to your mind instantaneously when things happen where you're presented with a choice to do things. Oh, we ain't supposed to do that. Nope, I remember what happened. Nope, sorry. I trust y'all more than I trust you. So that's one piece of hair. But that's why we're constantly to meditate on, and we're to teach our children like daily about it. Like seriously, it will literally become a part of your life, and it will literally navigate you. It will help you navigate the world in a way that pleases Yah, that will keep you on the right path. Seriously, and if you get off just a little bit, it'll turn you back and guide you back to the path you're supposed to be there.
Is that flower eating?
I'm a witness. I know. It really will.
That's
why it's so detrimental and so we must. That's why we're reading through it. We must know what the Old Testament, what the Torah says, because it's the Torah that keeps us. Like toward the Old Testament, it's Yah's law, statutes, and commands that keeps us. Remember what I told you, Yahuwah said that his new covenant would be not like the old covenant that he did with our ancestors by taking the law, statutes, and commands and putting it on the tablets, like the 10 Commandments on the tablets. He said it's not going to be that way. He said the new covenant would be that I will take those commands and now I will imprint them on your hearts. Never say he would do away with them. He said now they're going to be written on our hearts and they will guide us continually. He said, and I will be your God and you shall be my people. Why? Because we would literally live them. They would guide us. Inwardly, we would be guided by the law that Yahuwah had created. Right? And it's never to be done away with. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahuwah and went not fully after Yahuwah as David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And Yahuwah was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from Yahuwah, the God of Israel, which appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which Yahuwah had commanded. So remember, one of the commands also, the don't be greedy. Are you heating those up for your brothers too?
But this is not for the 3 little monsters.
Listen, don't play with me. Don't put no more in there. Close back up.
7.
Yeah, you eat them 7, and let that be enough.
Wait, you know what RTE
Hey,
is?
listen, wait, shh. Not right now. Wait a minute. Wherefore Yahuwah said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of these, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I had commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it unto thy servant. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. For Yahuwah stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite, and he was of the king's seed in Edom. For it came to pass, When David was in Edom, and Joab, captain of the host, was going up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. For it came to pass, for 6 months did Joab remain there with all of Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom. That Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child. And they arose out of Midian and came to Paran, and took the men with them out of Paran, and they came unto Egypt. And Pharaoh, king of Egypt, which gave him a house, and appointed him victuals, and gave him land. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of Taphanes the queen. And the sister of Taphanes bare him Genubath, his son, whom Taphanes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Genubath was in Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. And when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his fathers, and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, Let me depart, that I may go to my own country. Then Pharaoh said unto him, But what hast thou lacked with me, that, behold, thou seekest to go to thy own country? And he answered, Nothing, howbeit, let me go in any wise. And Yahuwah stirred him up another adversary, Rezon, the son of Eladah, which fled from his lord Hadad-ezer, the king of Zobah. And he gathered men unto him, and became captain over a band. When David slew them of Zobah, and they went to Damascus, and dwelt therein, and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did. And he harbored Israel, and reigned over Syria. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and Ephrathite, I'm sorry, I screwed it up, of Zerida, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo, and repaired the breaches of the city of David of his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he clad himself with a new garment, and they two alone were in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, Take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith Yahuwah, the God of Israel, Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give thee 10 tribes, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake. Wait a minute, Bella. The city which I have chosen out of all of the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me, and have worshipped Ashtaroth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Shemash, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him a prince all the days of his life, for David my servant's sake, whom I chose. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. And unto his son I will give 1 tribe, and that's going to be the tribe of Benjamin. Remember, Jeroboam is going to take 10, and Rehoboam, King Solomon's son, is going to have Judah and Benjamin. And within those tribes are scattered Levites. And unto his son I will give 1 tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign accordingly, to do all that thy soul desireth, and thou shalt be king over Israel. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and will walk in my ways, and do that which is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, then I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled unto Egypt. And Shishak, the king of Egypt, was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. And the rest of the acts of Solomon, all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? That's a book. You should probably go try and search for that. They also have a book called The Wisdom of Solomon, and you can actually look up that on YouTube and listen to it. It's probably about an hour and a half long, but it's really, really good. Some of the wisdom and stuff he said is completely breathtaking. Like, I've listened to it like 4 times already, and the first time back to back twice. And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. All right, y'all. That is our reading for today. That was 1 Kings 7, 8, and 9. It is day 99, Tuesday, March the 7th, 2020. Okay, if y'all missed what I said at the beginning, giving you a little bit of insight about Dope BCA and what's going on just when I stop this video and post it, go ahead and listen to it from the beginning. I take like the first 10 minutes and explain all that. Remember, we are coming up on Passover. If you have not purchased a lamb, if you got a lamb and you slaughtering, go ahead and do what you do. Just have a lamb, but make sure it's enough for your household, because if you have not eaten it all, it's supposed to be burnt up by midnight. So only get enough that is sufficient for your family so you can keep the commands, because at this time, like, I'm really looking at things and like it has a whole, guys, the 400-year prophecy, a lot of that stuff, you're welcome, plays into all of this, and it's not being like religious or anything, just looking at history and some things and knowing who true Israel is. And a lot of people know who we are, who true Israel is. We're not talking about the people who are over in Israel, but the true descendants of the people of this book. Well, not all of them, but you know, the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Though those people are Israel, they know it. It's been confirmed many times. And what's about to happen? It's a lot of strange things that are about to start happening that we have not seen in many generations. And it's shocking to some people. It's scaring some people. And a couple of people called me and asked me. They said, "Pam, what is going on? I don't understand what is going on," because they started looking into some stuff. And it's like, all right, Father, I've been talking about this for like the last couple of years. Like, I've been up here reading for you guys daily since December 2018. And we've only rested once a week on the Sabbath. And in a lot of those, I've explained a lot of this stuff about what's beginning to happen. Like, we're at the end of the 400 years of the captivity of Yahuwah's people, you know, so that's a prophecy. And if you go through here and you read through like the books of the prophets, it says what's going to happen at the end of those days. He said because we're scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, he's going to begin to judge all nations, not just America. Most of Judah is here in America, but the other tribes are scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. So you look at what's happening in all the 4 corners of the earth and who's dying. You know, and it will be really, oh my gosh. And you will begin to see the puzzle pieces come together. It's scary in a way, but it's almost like almost like a pure excitement for me where I want to like jump and dance. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like really happening. Like what I'm reading is like really happening, you know. So some people still not paying attention. Some people waking up like, wait, what? And they starting to look for stuff, and they starting to see some of the things that's really becoming eye-opening. So without getting into much of that, y'all, I'll drop little pieces here and there. But like I said, get your lamb that way, because Passover is coming up, and you want to keep the commands as much as possible. Like, here's a simple way. You want to keep the command. Look at the 10 Commandments. I'll post that today. 10 Commandments. Keep them. Everybody can keep the 10 Commandments, right? You know, like I said to somebody yesterday, just keep it simple. Keep y'all's commands. Don't sin intentionally. Repent if you mess up, and ask y'all for help. You know, those 4 simple things kind of keep you on track. I live by that daily. You know, but I mean, there's some hard times coming, y'all. So, but what I do know is Yahuwah keeps those who keeps his commands, right? So, with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all stay safe. Like I said, if you're away from family, in the next few days as much as possible. Try to get to a safe place or some place that you know you will be safe if you're locked down for the next 4 to 6, possibly 8 weeks and can't go anywhere. But if you're in a place where you might not do so good, you might want to get close to family and get there quick, okay? So I explained why I said all that and why I made some of them posts yesterday at the beginning. So do that, do it quickly. Military is being redistributed around the states and stuff because it seems to me they're going to call martial law because we know when they confine people to the houses, people going to comply for a week, maybe 2. You know, then people going to start getting antsy and getting restless and stuff, and they ain't going to want to stay in the house. They're going to try and sneak out and see what they can see. Oh, here's something I forgot to mention. If and when, I'm not trying to scare y'all, but listen to what I'm saying. If and when riots happen to break out where you are in the streets and protest, do not join them. Do not join them. Stay in your homes, okay? And I know that's a direct warning from y'all. Stay in your homes, because if you go out there and join them, it's not a guarantee that you're going to stay alive. So stay in your homes, okay? All right. So that being said, beautiful people, I ain't trying to scare nobody. Just
and don't try to be sneaky either.
Be prepared. If you don't, listen. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not saying you need to have one, but if you have something to protect yourself, stock up. I ain't gonna say stock up. I don't know how much more you can get. Have some extra ammunition or something, a bat, something you can protect yourself with, just in case. Like I said, expect the worst. Not expect the worst. Prepare for the worst. Expect the best. Just make sure you can take care of your family, okay? Assess your situation. Keep your eyes open, like tell us in the military. Keep your head on a swivel, and just pay attention to your surroundings all the time. Don't draw unnecessary attention to yourself. If you're going back out to get extra stuff, just be careful. Watch who's around you. Watch and see if anybody's watching you. Just use wisdom, y'all. All right. So that being said, let's go ahead and get out of here. And like I said again, for those that may have missed me because I was late, please forgive me. I was extremely tired and I overslept longer than what I have ever done. So that's why we started like 7:45 today. So I'm sorry, y'all. All right. May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. All right, y'all. I love y'all. I'll see you in the morning. Peace.